Hello, this is Nikki in Niagara coming to you from Niagara Falls, Canada. And here I am for a color and chat. And you can see what we're going to be coloring out of. This will be my first and only Christmas color and chat. So I would first like to say hello to my regular watchers and also a welcome to my new subbies. I am at 1.44 subbies and I can't quite imagine that. I'm almost at 1,500. I never thought I would get to 1,000, and now I'm almost at 1,500. It just blows my mind. I can't, honestly, I can't believe it. And I thank you, each and every one of you, for joining me here. So, yeah, we are going to be working in Johanna's Christmas, and I've picked the page that we're going to do. We're going to be doing this one right here. Now, this is a big book, and I'm not going to be able to, let me move that light a bit, get some light shining on our picture. Okay, that's as good as it's going to get. So, a little cramped here because my tripod is basically right in between the book. So we're going to be doing this picture, and for the very first time on camera I'm going to be using watercolor pencils. So I will be using my Albrecht-Dürers, which I have the 60 set of. So also in this case I have my extra pencils that I don't have a whole set of. I have 13, I believe, Derwent watercolors. I've got 2 Caran d'Ache Museum aquarelles. I've got 3 of the Kohinoor Mondeluz. I do have the full set of those. And these are the very first watercolor pencils I ever had. So these were probably about, 15, maybe going on 20 years I've had these. And I'm not getting rid of them because they have a sentimental value to me. And I checked them out the other day and they're not too shabby. Then I have graphite and is this charcoal? I'm not sure what it is, but they're washes. They're to make black or gray washes, and I have 2 Stabilo Alls here. One is graphite and one is just regular water soluble pencil. So they're my blacks and my grays. So I've never done this on screen before. Just let me make sure I have. I knew I would forget something. I don't have my water brush. I know where it is though. It's just right here. It's 3 steps away. Is this the one I've been using? Yeah. So I have a whole ton of these. And this one, I've been using this one for the last couple of months. It's a Sakura, I believe. Yes, there's Sakura. And it has a, it still has a point on it. It's kind of, oh, this is not the best light to be showing you guys things. There we go. Now it's probably too bright. But yeah, it's a medium thickness, but it's got a really fine tip, so it kind of works for everything. So we're going to do I'm going to have to put these out of the way, but let's just have a look first. we're going to do the reindeer head mounted on the wall. And we're going to start with the antlers, which I want to do in a darker brown than I do the reindeer head. The thing is that, let's see, I'll show you I've only done one picture in this book. Here, this is the one that I've done. I want to do this book in red, green, yellow, and blue. And then I can use gold and I can use black and white when needed. Plus, if there's a necessary color that I need to use, like if there's a tree trunk and I want to have it properly brown, I'm allowed to do that. But then I have to make sure I use a lot of my colors. So this one's kind of tough because do I go all fantasy-like and make my reindeer blue, red, yellow, green? Or am I going to do them all in browns and then have all the fancy stuff on them, all the different colors? Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do, because it would just look silly having a blue reindeer or a green reindeer. Yeah, okay, so I'll do what I was going to do. So I want the antlers to be darker than here. So I'm going to go with my, now where's my swatch book? Oh, man, it's right here. I don't think I need to get off the chair, just a couple of rolls. There we go. It's a good thing I have a small room. Okay, I can't do anything without my swatches. Let's see, where are, they're not that far. They're past this. Oh, brick doors, here we are. Alright, so these two browns here are really not very different at all. So if I use these two and then these two and burnt ochre, which is 182. Okay, can I see the numbers on here? The numbers shine. It's 187. Is this 182? Oh, it's 180. Well, then this one has to be 182. Well, it's burnt sienna. Oh, I'm looking for 283. Oh no, I decided on the burnt ochre, which was 182. 182. This is burnt ochre. It's 187. Well, I can't even read my own writing. That is a 7. Okay, so we'll use these 3. Now, to get this out of my way. You know, I'm going to be spending most of my time moving that case back and forth. Okay, so I have, in case you're going to follow along with me, I have walnut brown, which is number 177. And I have Van Dyke brown, which is 176. And then I have burnt ochre, which is 187. So I'm going to start off by making the tips dark brown. And then I'm going to make the curves the lightest color. Actually, maybe I should do that first. So, it is getting to be Christmas time. I have to say I'm not very festive, not really in the mood. I was watching Anna, the Colorful Life, watching her color with me, or color in chat earlier today, and it's so, what she was saying was just so me and so us, is that now that we don't have any kids in the family, it's just really hard to get in the festive mood. We don't have any decorations up. This will be our 3rd year of not putting up a tree, and for a couple of years before that we just put up a little table tree. And this year we're not really doing presents either, because there's nothing that anybody wants or needs that they can't just go out and buy themselves. You know, nobody wants anything besides, I mean, I want stuff off of my wish list all the time, but I mean, the guys don't want anything. They just get whatever they want whenever they need to. So is this my middle color? I'm a little bit lost here, yeah. There's not a big difference between those two, really. So they're gonna blend together nicely. So we don't have any decorations up. But we haven't done that for several years either. Christmas to me, ever since my mom died way back in 1993, I've just always thought of Christmas, the celebration part of it, not the I mean, like, you know, I celebrate that it's Christ's birth and the religious aspect of Christmas. I recognize and acknowledge that, but the present part and the Christmas songs are just for the kids, is kind of like how I feel. I like the hymns that we sing in church in January. No, that's not the dark one. Need to keep these in order so I don't mess it up. And I don't have my sharpener over here, so I'm gonna have to go get it at some point. Okay, so that's dark. This is medium. All right, so we do our celebration on Christmas Eve, and we have ever since the youngest stopped believing in Santa Claus, because that was the tradition for my family. Once we were teenagers, we opened presents on Christmas Eve. And you know, there's no big meaning behind that. I guess it's just that it started because I guess my parents didn't want to have to get up so early in the morning, and this way we could celebrate in the evening and spend the next day playing with our stuff. Well, we were teenagers, we weren't playing, but, you know, using our stuff and relaxing and, you know, waiting until we had supper. So this year, what we're going to do is we'll celebrate Christmas Eve and maybe play some games, and then on Christmas Day, we will be taking in a movie and going out for dinner. We always go out for dinner at the holidays, Thanksgiving, Easter, Christmas. There's only 3 of us here. There's absolutely no point in making a big meal. You can't buy a turkey small enough for 3 people anyways. And nobody likes leftovers. So we're stuck with that. But, yeah, I like opening presents on Christmas Eve because it's more fun to, like, in the evening, you're awake, you can have a couple of drinks, you can, you know, first thing in the morning you're just tired and you want to get it over with, and I am not a morning person. I cannot, you just can't get me anywhere. If doctors want to make appointments with me, like early in the morning, I just say, no, can't make it at that time. It has to be later. So my appointments are always at 11 or later. Like right now, I'm putting off going to get blood work done because I have to do a fast, a 12-hour fast, and get my then get my blood taken. So it's one of those things where you have to like stop eating and drinking and then go to bed and then wake up and then hurry over to the clinic and get your blood taken. And for me it's terrible because I have to have coffee in the morning. I can't speak, I can't walk. I can't, you know, I mean, I can barely breathe if I don't have a cup of coffee. So it's just like torture to go get that done. Okay, now, where's my paper towel? Oh, I had everything set up for me here, and I've forgotten half of the stuff I need. Alright, so we're gonna activate this now, and hopefully it will look like I envisioned it. Yeah, so the other thing that I'm putting off, I may have mentioned this already. I guess it's been a while since I did a color in chat. Other thing that I'm putting off is going to the dentist. Because I went and had my cleaning and everything was fine. I mean, I hated doing that. But then after I had my cleaning, they told me that I needed some maintenance done and that they were gonna take 2 fillings out and redo it because, you know, they were old and just needed redoing. And then there was one other thing too that they said, but you know, something major. And I'm not worried about the work that they're gonna do. I mean, that doesn't bother me. The freezing works really well on me, and I don't have any problems with the pain, or I'm not afraid of the instruments and all that kind of stuff. My problem is my anxiety, and I absolutely cannot stand people to be really close to me. And going to the dentist is extremely close to my face, and I just cannot stand that at all. That is way too close for personal space, you know? Okay, I'm gonna have to put some more of the light stuff down so I can mix that in. Let's go over here and do that too. Let that dry. It took me a long time to be able to get to use one of these water brushes, and I don't use them when I do watercolors, like proper watercolors. I like to do wet on wet technique, and I love using the bloom that the colors make when they hit the water. And I use a mop brush like this. Where do I have to go? Yeah, there we go. I use a mop brush like that, and I've got, now I can't get it back in, I've got big ones too, like that. That's not even my biggest one. Here's my other one. Love this. Yeah, that's a good 1.25 inches long, that one. Oh, of course, now I can't get in the back in their spaces. Okay, well that should have dried up for me now. But yeah, I don't want them in my personal space. So they stopped calling me, and so basically I'm just not gonna go at this point. Okay, let's just make all of them a little darker. So, tell me what you are doing for Christmas. Do you do a big celebration with family getting all together? Or do you have a quiet Christmas like we do? It's just the three of us. So yeah, I'd like to know what you're going to be doing this holiday season. We're going to actually, the other thing that we're going to do is, my son can't get together with us until after the new year. So this year we decided that we would go up there for a change, because they're always coming down here, and we thought it would be nice to go up there. So we're going to go up there on the 6th of January, and stay with them in the evening, and then we are going to spend the night at a hotel while my younger son, okay, I don't have any water coming out. Do I have any in here? Yeah, I got a ton in there. Having my water. Is that coming out? Maybe I better give it a squish. There. Huh. There we go. That was weird. What happened to it? It just didn't want to work for a little while. Oh, it's still not. Okay, I'm gonna squish it and let some come out. Ah, I got a stuffed up nose. So it's kind of hard to breathe out of my nose. So far, my site has not been flagged on anything. So I don't know what that means. Have they not gone through my site? Or have they gone through and just didn't flag anything? But you know, they may have done my site, because one day I logged on to YouTube and I tried to get into my oh, I'm not finding words. Oh, just a minute, I have to blow my nose. Fun. Alright. Got my pencils. Oh, yeah, they're in the right order. So, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something just before I had to blow my nose. Well, I forgot to ask how you were doing, so how are you doing? I hope today has been a good day for you. Or if this is the morning, I hope today that you've woken up feeling well and that today will be a good day for you. If it has been a bad day, then I encourage you to find something to do, like you're coloring or watching TV or some other hobby that you have, and try and get yourself to concentrate on that instead of the anxiety or the pain, and let yourself get into the zone where we don't have to think about those things. And hopefully tomorrow will be a good day for you. I'm not too bad, to tell you the truth. I've my shots are working pretty good. The only place that I'm really having problems with is the piriformis muscle. That's kind of like in my in my butt, my hip, and down to the top layer of my thigh. Most people don't know about it or what it is. But yeah, it's excruciating. The muscle sits on the sciatic nerve, so feels a lot like sciatica, and I don't want to say worse because everybody's pain level is different, but it's intense. So that was giving me big problems last week, but today is Friday night, and last night, on Thursday, I got a big shot in both of my, I don't even know what to call the area. Let's just say my butt. But it's, I got one really big hit in on each side of my butt. And it is holding up. I'm actually able to walk around the house without holding on to stuff, so that's a bonus for me. I have to remember that is good, that is progress, that I need to feel good about being able to accomplish something that I normally can't. So celebrate the small things, because they all add up, and we need to think positively when you can accomplish a small thing, like me being able to walk around the house without holding on to the furniture. That is an accomplishment. That's something to feel good about. I think I'll put a ring of this here. Where did I put it? There it is. So the weather's been nice. We've had a couple of cold days, but it's been like -3 up to 4 or 5 most days. Okay, this way works much better. Maybe I can do something with the other one. Get it to... I've really been having a lot of fun with the watercolors. And depending on the paper, I have to say that I like my Koh-i-Noors just as much as my Albrecht Dürer. And there is a huge price difference between the two. We have the Koh-i-Noors are budget friendly. Well, maybe budget friendly to mid-range. And the Albrecht Dürer are some of the most expensive watercolor. I want to get some more. Like I definitely want the Derwent watercolor. I have 13 of them and I really like them. Well, see, I got a tin of 12, and then in a subscription box once we got, I think we got 2 pencils along with some other different watercolor pencils, and that's why I have 13, because they sent us 2 and one of them I already had the color, so that's put away with all my duplicate pencils. Yeah, this is working out way better. Just take it slowly. Oh, it's almost 40 minutes. So what I would like you guys to do is put down some things that I can talk about when I'm doing color and chats, because it's one of the things that stops me from doing it regularly is because nothing ever happens. So I don't really have stories to tell. Like I can't fill up an hour telling you what happened since the last time I did this, because nothing happened. This, I don't feel like I'm getting enough water out of this. I'm gonna go get another one. I've been using that and I haven't had any problems with it, but it's just decided to act up. Now, where are my other ones? Where are they? Okay, they're not where they're supposed to be, so I'm not wasting time looking for them. What are those? Oh, black markers. That's definitely not what I'm looking for. Okay, so I need to do a bit more work on these. Layer them up. So yeah, if you guys could just write down general themes of what I could talk about, it would help me out. So that's one of the things that stops me from doing a color and chat, is that I just think, like, what am I going to chat about? I haven't done anything. I haven't gone anywhere. So once you've done one layer, you can do another. You just the second time when you add water, you just have to be gentle so that you're moving the pigment around with the water, but you're not picking it up, because we already have a dry layer on there and it will move too. So there, I just used the two colors. I have to put these where I can find them. Okay, so let's go here. So I haven't been reading anything. I used to be a big time reader. I was a book blogger, and you know, did all the advanced reading stuff on NetGalley. And then, you know, when they switched to digital books, or when the NetGalley got invented, I did that. And I must have done it for over 10 years. And I read comic books and graphic novels and manga. And with all that combined, my last couple of years of doing it, I read over 400 books 2 years in a row. And then all of a sudden I crashed. And I took 2 years where I basically didn't read anything. Then the beginning of this year I decided that I would start reading again. And I thought, well, what I'm going to do is I'm only going to read the series that I had started and get caught up with them. And so in January and February, I read 34 books. And then I came to a book, and 3 months later I was still on that book. So I just ignored it. And then a couple months ago I picked up a book, a real hold in your hand book, because all the other stuff I was doing was on my Kindle. It's where I mostly read everything, because I can adjust the size to whatever I want it to be. And so it was an in my hand book. It was called, what was it called? I don't know what it was called, but it was by David Slade. Oh no, I think maybe it was called The Slade House by David Mitchell. Does that sound right? And it was just like, what is going on? It was a weird book. Every chapter was about somebody else and nothing was happening. And so I put it down and I didn't read again. And now last night I just decided to try again. And I decided to pick my favorite author. In 2007 I decided to reread my favorite author, to read his books in order, in chronological order that he wrote them, so that I could get to So basically it was reading the books, but it was also a study of the author by reading his books. And that author is Stephen King. And so anyways, I am reading I decided that when I got to the point of where the Drawing of the Three was written, that I would read the first 3 books of the Gunslinger. So I skipped over where Gunslinger should have been in the chronological order, and now so I picked up Gunslinger because that's what book I should be reading. And last night I started reading that, and I read the introduction and the foreword by the author. And of course, Uncle Stevie writes a really good introduction, so 2 of them in a row wasn't bad. He caught my attention. I have read The Gunslinger before, but now I'm reading the edited version. Well, the expanded, edited, revised, and expanded edition. So I will try tonight to get into it. If I can't get into a Stephen King book, then there's got to be something wrong with me. I never did read much of the Dark Tower books. I read Gunslinger, Drawing of the Three, and I don't think I read the 3rd one. Okay, that looks better. This definitely look better. Okay, so let's go to working on the balls. So for that, I got my gel pens out, and these are Ain Art. And I also have a white and black paint pens. Some of them Posca, some of them not. I've got 2 glitter Poscas, and I've got a black graphic line marker. Alright, so let's start with a red ball. Are we on screen? Yeah, okay. Should be able to zoom in on this with my editing software. So that's the reading situation. We don't go to the movies, and I don't like watching movies. Which is kind of weird, because I used to give my excuse that I couldn't sit still for an hour and a half to 2 hours at one time, and that I liked 1-hour TV shows, but I've gotten to the point where I am well, let's try the glitter pasta. I haven't used these too much, so I'm not really too sure. Well, they have like an extra fine nib on them. These are nice. Just trying to see. Oh yeah, they glitter. They're not hugely glittery. It's very fine glitter. It's nice though. And they're not opaque. Huh. That's a surprise. Oh, I wonder if it's because, did I shake it? No, it's just more of the same coming out. Okay, so let's let that dry. And let's go with a gold star. Oh, which, yeah, one of these is more yellowish than gold, but they're both, I think that's the yellowish one. They're both starting to run out, so, oh, I didn't do the little doodad on that. Oh, I should get my silver, which is right here. Yeah, I get my silver to do these little beads here. So, anyways, I binge on watching TV shows on my computer. For the last 2 years about, I watched absolutely nothing but true crime, documentary type shows. I watched everything from your Crime Discovery Channel, whatever it's called. Oh, Investigation ID. Investigation Discovery. I watched everything from that to like actual 2-hour serious documentaries. And then this year, I just kind of like slowly faded out on that. See, I binge on everything that I do. It's just I do all or nothing. And I creep people out sometime about how involved I get. Wish I had silver. Oh, I do. I just brought it over here. What color should I do that one? There's no green yet. Okay. Let's do some green then. Yeah, because sometimes I'm too intense for people in what I'm into at the moment. The only thing that ever lasts like more than a year or two is my hobbies. I can, like for the last, let's see, that was 5, 19, 14, yeah, for pretty close to 14 years, I did nothing but collaging and altered books and mixed media and art journals and all that kind of stuff. And I interrupted every now and then with knitting and crocheting and coloring. But I just fizzled out on that altogether, and I thought it would come back. I thought I would like get my mojo back on it, but it just hasn't happened. I feel like I'm getting much more sense of accomplishment out of coloring, because you cannot believe the amount of crap that you accumulate when you do junk journaling and mixed media and all that other stuff. You like save everything. When you go to McDonald's, you save all the wrappers and the coffee cups, and you steal the menu and any brochures and sugar packets. I mean, everything comes home with you. I used to empty my purse at the end of every week, and it would just be full of junk that I saved, and it all went into my junk journal, you know. But the problem is that I would sit down and I would just be surrounded, like completely surrounded by paper and embellishments, and then I had all my paints and my mediums and my my watercolors and all the stuff. So I have all that stuff still. I've packed up most of my, we'll say junk journaling, because I mean that didn't exist when I started, but that's kind of a word that it accumulates it all together. So I've packed a lot of that stuff. I think I'm going to color this chain here. Ew, it changes. Is it the same one? Okay, wait a minute. Well, anyways, pack that up and put it in the attic. And then I've kept some out so that I could, well, more than some. I still have canvases, and I mean, if I wanted to paint something, I could just grab a canvas, and my acrylic paints are like right in front of me. I can't get them because the leg of my tripod is in there, but I got a thing full of these. Alright, so let's get back to what we're doing here. So, I was talking about what I'm watching on TV. I never did get around to what I'm into now. Well, let's do the... Is this red? These are the Japanese ones, so I can't read the colors, names on them. I'm sure I tried this out first. Oh yeah. Just kind of looks a little pinkish, but it's red. And yeah, so what I'm into right now is something that I've always been into, but I'm like 100% addicted to it right now, is British police procedurals and dramas and mysteries. I don't like the cozy stuff. I like the... Well, I can't say I don't like the cozy stuff, but it's not what I've been watching. I've been watching the, the police procedurals, where there's a DCI and his DS, and they go around and solve serial killer crimes, or just one. So anyways, I'm signed up to Acorn, and I've been watching everything on there for, I don't know, 3 months maybe, and I've watched every single show that they have available. That's the type of thing I'm watching on there. And so now I saved it for last because it's so long, but now I am watching Midsummer Murders. Started with series 1 and I'm up to 17, and they are filming 21 right now, so they're airing that on Acorn. I think the show goes onto Acorn a week after it's aired in Britain, about that. So, while I've been watching it, they just really don't add new shows fast enough for me to stay subscribed to it. So once I finish Midsummer Murders, I'll just check one more time to make sure there's nothing left on there that I haven't watched. And then I'm gonna sign off from that, and I'm gonna join up for BritBox, because I was looking at that and there's tons of shows on there that I want to watch. Some I've seen before, but I've never watched the whole complete series. So, or I did as a kid and I want to rewatch them. That's what I did with earlier in the year. I watched Inspector Morse from the beginning straight through to the end in order, and I just absolutely loved that. I used to watch that show with my mom and dad when it was on PBS Mystery. It might have even been before they had PBS Mystery, and it was part of Masterpiece Theater. They would do one show of Masterpiece Theater for however many weeks the series ran, and then they would do one thing of mystery. I don't know what they called it, just mystery or mystery theater. But it had the Edward Gorey illustrations at the beginning that were kind of animated, and they had this woman on top of a building going, "Oh, oh, oh," and yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm probably current with every British police procedural that's been on the air from the 90s to now. I don't watch shows that are still being filmed because I like to binge watch them from beginning to end. I don't want to wait a week for the next episode. So I don't watch shows that aren't finished. And I've always been like that with my TV watching. Ever since I switched to internet TV watching. Well, I guess it's not internet TV, is it? Because there's no TV involved. It's just internet watching. Well, my son and I were rushing to the door every time we heard a sound, and just going and checking the mailbox all day long because we're both expecting parcels, but nothing came for either of us, so it was disappointing. But I'm waiting for a box that my sister sent me, because we decided to send each other boxes. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? And this will show me how many people watch to the end. What I wanted to do was ask if there was anybody out there that would like to do wish list, kind of like a buddy wish list thing, because my sister has to give it up for about 6 months because they're selling their house and moving. So I thought I would try and see if I could get somebody else who would do it with me. And what we do is we alternate months, and the person whose month it is will go to the other's wish list and buy them a few things. We have we have kind of like a set value of like about $35 Canadian is about how much we're spending. So if you'd be interested in doing that with me, and I know who you are, and you know if you're a color tuber and you'd be interested in doing that with me for the next approximately 6 months, so that would be that means your obligation would be 3 months because we alternate. So out of 6 months, you would do 3 months and I would do 3 months alternately. So yeah, so if you're a color tuber and I know who you are, and I know who all the big, if you're a big, if you're a biggie in the color tube world, I know who you are. And I know lots of the small guys like me and the newcomers. I don't know all of you, but if you do the kind of coloring that, if you do color and chats, and I don't really watch any live streaming stuff. But anyways, I'm just saying, and I won't take somebody out of the blue who doesn't have a YouTube channel and, I've never communicated with before. You have to be somebody. Isn't that a song? Be somebody? I don't know. So, yeah, I'd be really interested in that, and I think that if nobody, I only want one person because I can't afford to buy every month. I can only do it with one person. But if nobody answers the call, I'll put it at the beginning of my next color and chat. But it'll be interesting to see if anybody takes me up on it, because I'd really like to keep doing it, and it'd be fun to be buying stuff for somebody new. So, I've got it now. I see where the ends are for this one. Cool. Alright, so this band goes down here, and then it goes down there, and then I'm gonna quit. I've done an hour and 10 minutes. Of course, a little bit of that's gonna be edited out. But, yeah, that didn't go too badly. I have to tell you that the reason I don't do coloring chats as often as I'd like to is because I don't have anything to say. And you probably wouldn't believe this, but I'm a real big talker in real life. Like, sometimes my husband just wants me to shut up because, I just go on and on and on about stuff. Especially what I'm into. I could go on forever. But, I think I say but, way too many times. So, we're winding down here with what I have to say. It's fairly late at night. I can't see my clock. It's behind some stuff over there. So I don't really know what time it is at all, but my husband comes home from work at 9 and he's not home yet. When I'm finished, when I turn off the camera, I'm going to let this sit for a while, and I'm going to go watch another episode of Midsummer Murders. I'm at the part where we've had the new Barnaby for a few years, and I don't mind him. He's okay. It's just his wife. I can't stand her. Oh, they just had a baby. The episode that I watched is when they had the baby. And that just made me cringe because I don't want no baby in my mystery stories. With this new Barnaby and his wife, they do way too much. Like, let's visit the family stuff. When it was Tom and what was her name, Joyce. Yeah, sure, she was on it, but and you know, they went out together, but there wasn't an awful lot of them sitting around at home being a family. It was just brief little intercepts, and I liked her. I'm pretty sure her name was Joyce. I like her way better than this new one. And I think her name is Kate. I'm not very good with names. Yeah, I liked her way better. Alright, so there we go. I've done that chain. Oh, I didn't do the middle part. Oh well, that's enough. We're over an hour now. So, I will say toodaloo for the time being. And if I don't come on before then, wish you all a very merry, blessed Christmas and a Happy New Year. May all... I'm not good at coming up with sentimental things to say, but I just wish you all the goodness and happiness to come in the new year. And I hope that we will still be spending time together then. So from me to you, it's time to say goodbye. Bye-bye.